Have I seen Mushoku Tensei? Yes, I've seen Mushoku Tensei. I'm a giant Mushoku Tensei fan. Oh, Blue Vortex is the sequel for, is like the Shippuden of Boruto. Have I seen Wonga Midnight? No, I have not. I need to at some point. Anyway, Jak 3 OpenGoal is here. Native PC ports for the entire Jak and Daxter trilogy by your favorite channel, The Gamers Joint.
It's a pretty good day for Jak and Daxter fans.
It is.
As Jak 3 finally, after long wait, received its OpenGoal
Absolutely phenomenal game, by the way.
native PC port. This means that the entire Jak trilogy is now available on PC. They can be played at higher frame rates, higher resolutions, and with mod support. People have been waiting in high anticipation for Jak 3 for a little while. The OpenGoal project started back in 2020 with the first
It was only
public
that long
release
ago? Fuck.
The Precursor Legacy releasing in April of 2022. A year on, in October of 2023, Jak 2 was released, so the wait for Jak 3 has been quite a bit longer. This means that Jak 3 now has all of the benefits that the other games have seen through OpenGoal, like the
This was announced on April Fool's Day, by the way. They decided to fuck with people.
custom PC settings menu. We can now finally experience the game in crispy native 4K. There's a bunch of
Would you say the Jak series didn't get tainted? Would you say the Jak series didn't get tainted and ended off on good note? The Jak trilogy. Yes. However, there is the Lost Frontier. Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier is not a great video game. Not as bad as people made it out to be, but they did make a fourth game, which was rough. If they had stopped at Jak X, which was the combat racer, things would have been totally fine. No issues at all. Jak X is a great game. They just had to go and do one more that wasn't good.
of other settings and miscellaneous stuff here. There is a frame rate option here, though right now in its current build, you can't toggle the game beyond 60 frames per second. Both Precursor Legacy and Jak 2 support high frame rate modes up to that of 240 frames per second. So eventually,
I wonder if that gets in the way of any of the speedrunning stuff, because I know, well, I don't know what is tied to the frame rate in Jak 2 and 3. Jak 2 and 3 are the same game. Like, they're technically different games, but they are literally the same game under the hood. They have the same bugs. There is a flight glitch with the jetboard. Works exactly the same between both games.
as progress is made on Jak 3, as it's still very much a work in progress, high frame rate modes will become available. So I should mention that right now, Jak 3 is currently in beta. It explicitly says on the OpenGoal launcher that you may come across some bugs, some inconsistencies, and possibly even some crashes. Now, I haven't gone through the entire game. I've played for a few hours, and honestly, I haven't noticed anything. The same was mentioned when both Precursor Legacy and even Jak 2 released, yet
I would assume it's some, like, weird edge case combinations of things, accessing certain out-of-bounds areas, maybe things like that.
Played through both of them on launch, and the experience, basically for the most part, was fine, meaning that you could play the game from start to finish. I believe that work on OpenGoal Jak 3 began back in 2023, so the game has actually been worked on for quite some time. Obviously, the team at OpenGoal don't release a public beta of a Jak game until it's in a playable state.
Which is a good, honestly, a good way to handle it. You don't want people to, like, get bad opinions of the project when things are obviously not ready.
Can be played from start to finish, but just based on my own personal experience, it seems very stable. The only game to be considered actually complete here is Precursor Legacy. Jak 2 is still considered to be in a beta state, but that being said, the game is still incredibly polished. However, work is still being made behind the scenes to iron out minor issues like visual glitches or audio problems. Even though I haven't experienced them, the same is also going to be present.
Fucking Leaper, the fucking Leaper lizard bullshit at the start of the game, man.
Here with Jak 3, and OpenGoal's focus moving forward will be to polish up and fine-tune both Jak 2 and Jak 3. People really need to understand, though, just how incredible the OpenGoal project truly is.
There is a Flatpak Linux launcher as well. So if you want to play it on Linux, works totally fine.
This has been no easy feat. Of course, now we're 6 years on since the project initially started, and only now are we just getting Jack 3. This entire effort meant that a small group of people basically had to reverse engineer the custom coding language that Naughty Dog used to develop the Jak and Daxter games. This is known...
The custom coding language written by one guy with no documentation, just so we're on the same page.
As GOAL, which is short for Game-Orientated Assembly Lisp. OpenGoal allows the team to decompile the Jak and Daxter games into C++, with the end result meaning that we get a native PC version. It gets incredibly technical.
It has also completely opened up the game for modders. As someone was talking about before, there is... someone decided to go and port the Half-Life movement over to Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy, and you can play the game as Gordon Freeman.
See, beyond that, my brain processor can't even fathom to grasp the ins and outs of what this team has had to go through in order to make this a reality. But that is just my basic understanding. This hasn't been easy at all. But this means that OpenGoal becomes the definitive way to experience the Jak and Daxter
Because
trilogy.
Naughty Dog doesn't give a shit anymore.
Look at the versions of Jak and Daxter that are available on the PlayStation Store, whether it's the PS4 or PS5 versions. Those are running via emulation. They do come with their own quirks and obviously aren't able to be played at incredibly high frame rates and native 4K. Also, I highly doubt that Sony will ever make an effort to natively port their PlayStation 2 library to gain the benefits that we're seeing here from OpenGoal. So this is why decompilations and recompilations are so important. It offers the best way to be able to experience these old games, where we know the original IP holders are probably never going to offer a better version, so a dedicated group of people band together.
Imagine that.
to
Imagine
do
offering
exactly
things people want to
that.
buy.
Outside of the obvious, though, I think
There
the
it
coolest
is.
reason about receiving the Jak games like this is definitely the mod support. Although the mod community is really small for the Jak and Daxter games, there are a dedicated few here. And the best thing about this is it offers new ways to be able to experience these games. Specifically looking at Precursor Legacy, as it seems to have the most mod support.
This is Precursor Legacy with the Gordon Freeman mod.
Of different challenge mods here for speedrunning, like the warp or checkpoint randomizer, the no jump challenge, orb hunt, or randomized power cell order. Not to mention the entirely custom brand new levels, which is a huge deal considering that Jak is a dormant IP at this point. Speaking of which, Jak 3 already has a few mods, even though the game just released. This includes the Daxter mod, allowing you to play the entire game as Daxter. Yes, that is Dark Daxter. Yeah, no, not this cursed version. This cursed version. Or the Fricked Up mod, which intentionally curses your game experience. There's even currently an HD texture pack mod for the HUD and UI elements that improves the HUD from this to this. It's currently available over on the OpenGoal Nexus. So now the Jak 3 released this.
Okay, so it's I see. So it's actually basing this on the player, or like the models within the game, rather than just using the pixel art. Okay, but actually that's an improvement that makes sense.
It's currently available over on the OpenGoal Nexus. So now that Jak 3 is released, the big question...
I prefer the pixelated look as well, but the point of it is, like, you can open up the game to modding.
Here that people have been asking is, what will the team move on to next? Or at least once they've finalized development on
Ratchet and Clank? That would be interesting.
On 3 and 2, will they look at possibly decompiling Jak X? This is
yeah! No, okay, if we can get Jak X, that would be crazy. Jak X and building PC network infrastructure for it, being able to, like, host online PC lobbies for Jak X would be insane.
Obviously the final Jak and Daxter game that Naughty Dog developed using Goal before they moved on to Uncharted. It's mentioned by the team that they're unsure as of right now whether or not Jak X will be decompiled. So this is something that
I hope they do. That would be sick.
Happen. If I were to have to guess though, I can imagine that they'd probably decide to end up doing this only because this is the final Jak game developed under this custom Goal language. It would sort of be a waste to do all of this work and go through the effort of creating OpenGoal with one game there that has been developed using this language that hasn't been decompiled. OpenGoal is literally the only means and know-how of receiving a Jak X decompilation, so I can see this eventually happening. Of course, there are also two other Jak and Daxter games here, both Daxter and The Lost Frontier, though these two...
Yeah, Daxter was on the PSP. I've never played this one. I've heard it's actually surprisingly good. This takes place just before the start of Jak 2. I believe it ends... Doesn't it end when Daxter gets to Jak in the experimentation room?
Weren't developed by Naughty Dog. They were developed by Ready at Dawn and High Impact Games. The team have explicitly stated that they won't be doing anything for these games due to both of them running on completely different engines.
Sure.
These weren't developed using the same tech that was used to develop the original 4 Jak and Daxter games developed by Naughty Dog. Honestly, not really a big deal if we're looking at these two, only because Daxter runs fine enough via emulation on PS4 or PlayStation 5, and looking at The Lost Frontier, it's honestly not even worth playing anyway. Most people in the Jak and Daxter community don't even consider The Lost Frontier to be canon to the overall series. And even looking at Naughty Dog, it seems like they really weren't too pleased with the result from High Impact Games. Sam Thompson said, "If we had to do it all over again, we would have done some things differently in the execution of The Lost Frontier. I'm not happy with that being Jak's swan song. I think we could have done a lot better." Unfortunately, at the time, Naughty Dog couldn't assist with the development of The Lost Frontier, hence why it was outsourced, because the team was busy working on Uncharted. I've also been asked about the PlayStation 2 Ratchet and Clank games, which this personally would be a dream of mine. However, no, this is not happening because, again, the logistics are completely different. Insomniac, obviously, used a completely different engine
that would be cool,
to develop the Ratchet and Clank games. I do hope that one day...
It would be cool if either they, when they finished the games, decided to take on this project or something else. It would be cool if someone did this.
Though, some team out there will band together to give us a Ratchet and Clank and even a Sly Cooper decompilation. But the main point here is that we've got the entire original trilogy decompiled and the best means now of being able to experience it. And that, in my opinion, is fucking awesome. I thought I'd give you guys a quick rundown on how to get this set up for people that are new to OpenGoal. It's incredibly easy. Just simply go over to the OpenGoal website. I'll leave a link
tutorial
in the description
time
down below and download the launcher. Open up the launcher and ensure the launcher version as well as the tooling version are currently on the most recent updated version. Now, to stay within legal bounds, most recompilation projects don't actually offer the game as a download. You actually have to supply your very own ISO
I wonder where you could get that
of
for.
the game that has been decompiled and recompiled. So you'll have to supply OpenGoal with your own ISOs of the games. Now, obviously, there's two ways of doing this. You can either dump your own retail version.
That's what I do. That's what I do for every game.
Or you can sail the seven seas and plunder up one for yourself. Let's be honest, this is what most people are going to do. It's incredibly easy to find. I'm not going to be supplying any links to any ISOs for obvious reasons.
I would never do that.
Just simply click on install via ISO, select it, and the launcher will do the rest of the heavy lifting. Modding the games is incredibly easy as well. If you go down to features and click on mods and add the jackmods.
The fucking archipelago. Right, yeah, okay.
Dev mod list into the launcher, you'll now have access to all of the currently available mods for all 3 games.
Sorry, Obama, Jak and Daxter?
When a new mod is added to this list, it's just automatically updated via the launcher. You don't have to do anything, and installing is as easy as just clicking on the mod you want and clicking install.
My buddy Vim told me if I ever sail a sea, he might put me in his lair. Yeah, I am aware of Uncle Vim. Uncle Vim's a good guy.
This is another great thing about OpenGoal. The entire experience of setting it up is just incredibly easy. So if you're waiting for Jack 3 to finally hit PC, the time has finally arrived. I have to say massive kudos to the OpenGoal team for their endless dedication. In a time and era where the Jak and Daxter franchise is effectively dead, this is just
I don't know who that
so
is.
incredible to
It's
know
okay.
that a small group of people are doing something to give us new Jak content. That's all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to slippity slap that like button and subscribe to keep up with all the shenanigans going on here. A big shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. I appreciate your ongoing support. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll chat again real soon.
Honestly, I love the Jak and Daxter series. It's great. If you've not played it yet, this is as good a time as any to go and play it.
As
yeah.
I do, I am a good boy. I love copyright law. I
Me
always
too.
pay copyright holders, no
Yep.
matter how evil or stupid they may be.
True.
Don't sue me, bro.
You should always do that. Yep. Always respect copyright. Never do anything else. That would be bad. You don't want to be bad.